Welcome, Colorado Avalanche fans and hockey fans around the net. This is In the Crease post-game review for Rocky Mountain Sports Report. I am, as always, your humble host, Gregory Doudna, a.k.a. The Bloodo. Thank you for joining me tonight. First things first, would like to give a big shout-out to our sponsors, Coda Bear Creations. They are responsible for all of the merchandise for Rocky Mountain Sports Report, all of our shirts, our water bottles, hats, all that kind of stuff. Be sure to check them out. Go follow their Facebook page. Pick something up from In the Crease or anything else from Rocky Mountain Sports Report. All thanks to Coda Bear Creations. Big thanks to them. With that, let's hop into it. Unfortunately, we're up against the ropes, everybody. We lose to Vegas Golden Knights in overtime, 3-2 here at Ball Arena in Denver. The first, and it's not a regulation loss, so technically our point streak at home continues. Not that it matters in the playoffs. But yeah, it's come down to the brink. Vegas played a heck of a game late in order to pull this one off. Avs looked very good, compared to how they looked in, honestly, games 2, 3, and 4. They didn't look good even in our second win here at home. But they were able to get that win. Unfortunately, unable to pull it off here. Had a pretty good lead, a 2-0 lead. So it looked like they were, really in control of this. They were playing very well. The speed was back. The passing was back. Your typical Avalanche hockey was back. Unfortunately, not enough to power them through and hold on for the win. So just a few things before we hop in. Had a couple things happen. We had Alex Newhook reinserted in the lineup in place of Carl Soderberg. We also got Logan O'Connor back in the lineup for his first game since March, coming back from injury. It was so good to see him. I think he played a fantastic game, but had him in place of Kiefer Sherwood. The kind of surprising thing that I feel like that many Avs fans noticed and pointed out, they kept Patrick Nemeth in the lineup after his huge mistake in Game 4, and after honestly just not very productive play. A lot of kind of negative plays, including honestly, I felt this was another game that wasn't very good for him. He ends up picking up an assist, but I don't think it really kind of cancels out his lack of positive production in other areas of his game. So very surprised to see that happen. And a good evening, Adam and Kayla. Good to see you. Glad you're here. And yeah, I'm going to pop this up because you're absolutely right. We're on life support now. Up against the ropes, back to the wall, everything you can think of. But yeah, I mean, there was a play. I believe it was in the second period where Nemeth had kind of an unforced icing that I felt was just, kind of a tacky play. Kind of just, again, speaks to the way that he's been playing in these playoffs, and honestly been playing since we brought him back from Detroit. Just has not been, a positive role model for a very young Avs team, for someone who's got much more experience than most of this lineup, and someone who's playing very important minutes, being a big part of the penalty kill, trying to just chew up minutes so that we can get rest to our young kids like Cale Makar, Sammy Girard, and Devon Taves. He hasn't been doing anything to really kind of boost this team. But that's all I'm really going to say about him. We'll see if anything changes for Game 6. And I feel like at this point, yeah, got a good comment here from Sydney. Detroit changes an Avs player. It does, man. It does. Going and playing with the Red Wings, it does something to people. But yeah, just very unfortunate to see his play, seriously lacking. Also with that, we have some lineup changes, some big ones. The lines looked very different. Honestly, I was right on board. I think it was a fantastic call. I think Coach Bednar was spot on with the changes he made. Again, I think you take Nemeth out, put in Jacob McDonald would be my preference, or Bo and Byram. They're both good. They're both ready to play. So, it's interesting to not see anything happen for Game 5. We'll see if something happens Game 6. I'd like to see it. Hopefully it's not too late at this point. But the lines get mixed up. We end up with Brandon Saad going up on the top line with Nathan MacKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. Gabe gets dropped down to second line and also gets the company of JT Compher and Valeri Nichushkin. Third line ends up, I believe third line then ends up being Tyson Jost with Logan O'Connor and Andre Burakovsky. And then fourth line, you get Jonas Donskoy with P.E. Belmar and Alex Newhook. So different lineups. Very, very interesting. Let's see, just checking some comments. That's what I'm saying, man. I kind of hope so. I'm going to prop this up from Sydney here. So last game is Nemeth. Tonight it seemed to be Graves. Do we see different D-men come in next? It's interesting. I hope so. I think it's something that you're absolutely going to need, especially with us going back to Vegas. I mean, we're going to need something. I think the line changes really helped, but I honestly think you get Nemeth out of there. Graves, he's so kind of streaky in a defensive sense because he does a lot of really good stuff, but then he'll do, kind of one stupid thing that ends up sinking the team. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think you take Graves out of the lineup. At least I don't see Bednar doing that. But I also saw, I figured Bednar was going to take Nemeth out of the lineup. And like I say, either put in Jacob McDonald or Bowen Byram. So, I think if you really want to have the most impact, you absolutely get Patrick Nemeth out of this lineup. You say, okay, that ship has sailed, and get Jacob McDonald back in because he proved this regular season that he's a heck of a player and can make an impact when given a chance. We'll have from Adam and Kayla here. Yeah, we need to find a way to keep the lead when we have it. You're exactly right, and it's something that I feel like has kind of been an Achilles heel of the Avalanche, not just this season, but kind of for a long time. It's kind of been a team trait for many years that I don't typically see as many other teams that have such a consistency of getting leads and blowing them. It kind of seems to be in a lot of ways kind of a Denver thing. I mean, the Broncos do it, the Nuggets do it, the Avs absolutely do it, the Rockies do it. It's something strange about Colorado-based teams that for whatever reason we're really good about kind of coming out strong and hopping to an early lead and then just squandering it away. So yeah, absolutely agree with that. But with that, we will move on to the game. We go into the first period. Starts off strong for the Avs. They really came out firing. They came out hot, and it was fantastic to see. Mikko actually got a beautiful opportunity pretty early on, just barely ends up missing as the puck goes off the heel of his stick. But he's coming on the backside, and Devon Taves gets the puck and has a beautiful, beautiful pass cross ice to Mikko right at the goal. I mean, he is as backdoor can be. He is almost on top of the post. He did exactly right. He, shuffled his hands down, trying to get the leverage on his stick. I think Fleury might have gotten a tiny piece of it just to knock it enough to where he couldn't quite track it right when it got to him. Cause like I said, it ends up going right off the heel of his stick, kind of flusters around in his skates. And he's not able to get control of it to be able to kind of, fish it into the net real quick. But it was a beautiful opportunity to kind of showcase that, hey, the Avs are here. The Avs are ready. They're coming out hot. They're coming out strong. And it stayed that way for the first two periods of this game. Unfortunately, you don't win games with two periods. But then at 6 minutes and 7 seconds, Mikko gets hit with an interference call for kicking Marc-Andre Fleury's stick. Fleury had lost his stick earlier on the play for a good minute. I mean, it was a good 30, 45 seconds that Fleury didn't have his stick. finally one of his teammates pushes his stick back towards him because I knew he was just under barrage. The Avs, again, they were swarming. They were staying strong in the offensive zone, keeping that pressure on Fleury, making sure that he had to do everything he could, so he couldn't quite worry about the stick yet. But finally got a teammate to push it back to him. And as he went to grab it, Mikko came skating by and just caught it with his foot. It could have been incidental. I couldn't really tell from the camera angles. But I could also totally picture Mikko being like, oh, he, let me just do this real quick. So I don't know. It could have totally been on purpose or incidental. I'm not sure. But ends up just, catching his stick, kind of kicking it away. Gets called for the interference call. So he heads off the ice. I say 6 minutes, 7 seconds. Nothing comes from it. This ends up staying the Avs game. And Valeri Nichushkin ends up with a massive defensive play and a shorthanded opportunity on this penalty kill for the Avalanche. Just gets perfect stick right into a passing lane, knocks it out, gets a little bit of a breakaway. Not quite. He had two players right on him, but gets just a beautiful play. So it was good to see that the Avs really started to kind of grab at every part of the game. It wasn't just a case of, okay, the top line came out and was strong. Every line came out and did something. They were absolutely productive, and it was fantastic to see. Wish it would have carried for 3 periods rather than just 2. But still, it was good to see that at least that life was there. This wasn't another game of kind of looking like an abused puppy like they have for the 2 games in Vegas. Those games, there was no fire, there was no drive, there was no energy. The energy was very much there for at least, again, 2 periods of this game. And then the big play of the first period with just 1.8 seconds left at 19:58, Brandon Saad with an absolute snipe. Beautiful shot. Puts one past Marc-Andre Fleury, gets his 7th goal of the postseason. I believe it's his 4th game this series where he got their playoffs. It's either this series or the playoffs where he got the first goal of the game. So again, Brandon Saad paying just massive dividends, being a huge component of this team. Fantastic signing by Joe Sakic in the offseason. Picks up an assist from Devon Taves, his 5th assist of the playoffs, and Mikko Rantanen, his 8th assist of the playoffs. But it was fantastic. Beautiful shot. Kind of one that I think was much more Fleury messing it up. I'm sure anybody who saw it would probably agree. He tried to come across and catch it cross shoulder rather than just, kind of get a shoulder up or blocker up to just knock it away. And immediately, head towards the sky, just knowing, oh God, I just screwed up. But you have to give the credit to Saad here, simply because when he was coming in the zone, he looked up at the clock real quick, did a quick time management. How much time do I have? What can I do? Faked the slap shot coming across the blue line, and then got around Alex Pietrangelo and just put a beautiful wrist shot up into the top corner, and a gorgeous shot. So, even though Fleury misplayed it and completely messed it up and kind of let the goal happen, Brandon Saad, man, had his head in the game and knew exactly what he needed to do, and just a beautiful goal from him. Avs finally, for the first time since game 2, outshoot Vegas in a period. The Avs get 10 shots on goal. Vegas gets 9 shots on goal. So nothing huge, but you need things like this when things aren't going your way. You have to get something to finally help you. You have to get something that changes things, even if it's just a little bit. So it's so nice to see them finally outshoot Vegas. And then going into the second period, not a whole lot as far as notes here, but I will say overall it was a fantastic period by the Avs. They played with plenty of control. They looked very sharp. Just not a lot of kind of standout moments, not a lot of things to really bring up. There was a huge opportunity that Tyson Jost got on kind of not really a breakaway. He had a player right on him, but was able to get in behind the defense and tried to get the puck kind of back across the grain as he was coming in front of Fleury on a curl. Tried to get it kind of back past him, but Fleury got just enough of it to knock it down, keep it underneath the pad. And so it was, just another example that, hey, the Avs are here, the Avs are ready. They're going to play a hard game and take control of it. And, so just, again, when things have been as bad as they have been in the last 3 games, this was huge. It was absolutely huge to see the Avs play this way. At 16:28 of the second period, like I say, not a lot of notes in this one, but 16:28 of the second period, Jonas Donskoy gets his 3rd goal of the postseason with an assist from Alex Newhook, his first assist of the postseason and of his NHL career. And Patrick Nemeth picks up his first assist of the playoffs. Again, I'll reiterate, I don't believe this assist for Nemeth at all absolves him from his issues. Definitely a lot there to unpack, but again, I hope something gets done about it. I'm really not on board with him staying in the lineup whatsoever. And again, I'm extremely surprised that he was in the lineup for this game. But beautiful pass by Newhook, coming away from the goal line, gets a nice quick snap pass over to Donskoy, who just one knee, one timer, right, the top corner on Marc-Andre Fleury. Just a beautiful, beautiful shot, beautiful pass. And here's the 2-0 lead, and as this game was going on, before that goal happened, I found myself sitting here going, this is okay. We're up 1-0. That's good. I'm not going to feel comfortable until we get that second goal. I'm not going to feel any better until that second goal finally happens. Donskoy gets this, and it was just, the weight was off the shoulders, and it was like, okay, the Avs have the control. This is fantastic to see. Like I say, just the whole second period, it very much was an Avs second period, something that we've seen them do all the way since, last season. Last season, their second period play was just astronomical compared to the rest of the NHL. And it was the exact same way this season. So it was so nice, once again, just to reiterate, to see the Avs playing the Avs game. It was a hard fought game. It was very much a playoff type game, but they played their game. They played a second period that was strong. It was gritty. It was very determined, just phenomenal passes. Everything like that. Got a comment here from someone, I'm not sure who, it says Facebook user, but will the NHL investigate the refs? I doubt it. And it's it's the way it is with every sport, especially in the playoffs. Calls don't go some way or go another way, or and this one, honestly, like I didn't really see any issue with the officiating. Obviously some non-calls that probably should have been calls, but overall, it wasn't anything that was just so blatant that it was a very disappointing non-call or a very disappointing call one way or the other. So yeah, no, I doubt they're going to investigate the refs. The play that we're used to seeing the Avs put forth in a second period that was just fantastic. Gives them a total of 21 shots throughout the first 2, compared to Vegas's 14 throughout the first 2. Yeah, I agree with Sydney here. He says consistently bad across playoffs, but tonight seemed fair in quotations. Don't think Mikko's was targeted at him. Yeah, no, it just, like I say, and it's one of the things that always kind of cracks me up whenever certain penalties happen of, it was incidental, or, it was an accident. He didn't mean to. Very rarely do you mean to commit a penalty. Your intent to commit a penalty never comes into it. An intent to injure, that will always come into it. But the intent behind a penalty happening, that doesn't mean anything. Not worth the $25,000 fine. Yeah, exactly. Um, so we move into the third period, and this is where it gets to be so rough. As I say, not just a fan of the Avs. It's something that I feel like for years I have noticed the Broncos do, the Rockies do, the Avs do, the Nuggets. They'll play so strong, do so well throughout the first, chunk of a game. In this case, is the first two periods. Sometimes it's just the first period. Sometimes with the Broncos, it's the first three quarters. Same with the Nuggets. They'll play so well and then just let it all fall apart at the very end, and quickly into the final, final period or final quarter, whatever. And yet another example of it. Alex Tuch at just a minute and 3 seconds into the third period gets Vegas on the board with his fourth goal of the playoffs, with an assist from Nicholas Waugh, his third assist, and Matthias Janmark, his fourth assist of the playoffs. And the thing that really, really sucks for the way that this all went was it very much came down to turnovers. Turnovers are what sunk the Avs in this one. And it's always tough to me losing when you shoot yourself in the foot. It's one thing if the other team just outplays you, then they deserve it. Congrats to them. But it's completely another when you have full control of a game and you just hand it over to the other team. And that's exactly what the Avs do in this one. Alex Tuch getting his goal off of a turnover from Andre Burakovsky. He has the puck in the defensive zone, peels away from everybody, kind of spins around, tries to do a cross-ice pass on the breakout. It ends up getting blocked by a Vegas player. Gets blocked by Matthias Janmark, and then kind of goes back to Berkey where he's in a fight with Nicholas Waugh for it. Waugh ends up taking the puck, getting past Berkey, and just sending a pass over to Alex Tuch, who's streaking down the slot. And, got to give credit where it's due. Tuch made a fantastic play on this. Puck ends up hitting his stick, popping up in the air, and in midair, he's able to smack it right past Philip Grubauer. Nothing you can do on that if you're Grubauer. You just got left out to dry by Burakovsky turning that puck over. And then just 3 minutes and 4 seconds after that. So didn't even give us a chance to kind of, wallow or, to kind of feel that, crap. All right, well, we don't have the 2-goal lead anymore, but we're still in the lead. They don't even give us a chance to feel that. Because at 4 minutes and 7 seconds, Jonathan Marchessault picks up his 6th goal of the playoffs. The dude has just been an absolute destroyer of the Avalanche in this series. After coming off a hat trick in game 4, picks up his 6th goal. With an assist from William Karlsson, who had a 3-assist night in Game 4, picks up his 7th assist of the playoffs. And again, on the turnovers. Avs are coming into the zone, had a lot of speed, a lot of intensity. Gabriel Landeskog's got the puck, and he fires a pass over. I'm not sure if he was trying to get it to JT Compher, but if he was, the pass was really hard for Compher. So in that, it looked like he kind of realized that. This is going to whoever's behind me. Lets the puck go. Ryan Graves is behind him in an okay position to receive a pass, but the pass ends up going behind him and hits him right in the skate and just bounces straight to the Golden Knights, right to William Karlsson, who's able to take it all the way down the ice, get in behind the defense, kind of curl into the slot, and find Jonathan Marchessault on the back door, who puts it past Philip Grubauer to tie this game at 2. Again, didn't even give us the chance to say, it's okay, we still have the lead. So this is a rough series of events. Again, it was 3 minutes and 4 seconds between goals. Not even 5 minutes into the third, and the Avs squander the 40 minutes of work that they just put in. Thankfully, they didn't give up right there. They didn't allow the third one in the third period, at least. They kept trying. They kept fighting. They stayed in it as hard as they could. Logan O'Connor just playing huge. I think the kid is a heck of a player. Um, may not put up the points, may not get the numbers that I'd like to see, but he plays with intensity. He has got tons of speed, will never shy away from contact, plays the body as often as he can, makes smart decisions. Very, very rarely do you see him cough up a puck or just not make a smart play. It's almost always the right play that can be made at the time. I'd like to see him put the puck in the net more. I'd like to see him get some more numbers, but honestly, I think he plays fantastic. He has so much energy, especially when he gets to play a fourth line role with P.E. Belmar, because then typically if you're on the fourth line, you're going up against the opposing team's fourth line, and he is much better than almost any fourth liner in the league. So, it's good to see him coming back from injury, playing the way that he did. Like I said, just tons of energy. I'd love to see him take off and get going. But unfortunately, not in this one. He did have a huge, huge chance right in front of Marc-Andre Fleury coming down the slot, gets a pass over, wide open, tries to tuck it 5-hole. Fleury just makes a great save on it and is able to pin it underneath him and get the stop. But like I say, having Logan back in the lineup is massive. It makes me feel so much better seeing players like him return. We have plenty of depth that still can handle when handle when people are out, handle when things get rough. But I believe Logan O'Connor is going to be an absolute star in this league someday, and hopefully he stays with the Avs so we can see him do it here. But obviously it also kind of helps having the number 25. But I'll be honest, there were times where, he'd do something and it was a quick flash. I didn't quite catch all the number. I found myself saying, good job, Nathan, or like, come on, Nathan, or whatever. And I was like, oh, no, that's Logan O'Connor. But that's just the type of game that he plays, that intensity and that speed that he plays with that can, kind of catch you off guard in a lot of ways. Hopefully we'll see him have just a fantastic career, hopefully for the Avs. At 10 minutes and 50 seconds of the third period, Shea Theodore of the Vegas Golden Knights gets hit with a delay of game penalty for just flinging the puck over the glass. Happens all the time. And like I always say, it is what it is. Those penalties always suck because it's not like he was meaning to. So it goes. Unfortunately, nothing comes from it. Thought it was going to be that spark to get the Avs back into this and say, hey, all right, we got this. We're just going to go out, get this power play goal, or at least get a bunch of momentum from this power play so that we can get this goal in the third and not have to worry anymore. Unfortunately, doesn't happen, although a ton of back and forth action does happen to finish out the game. The Avs pick up 7 shots on goal in the third to put them at a total of 28 shots through regulation, and Vegas picks up 10, so we get outshot again. So it's good to see it come back. It's good to see them finally outshoot Vegas for the first time since game 2. But unfortunately, it only lasted the first 2 periods. So I say that was all we really played. The third, there was some energy, but nowhere near as much. Definitely nowhere near as much. As much production, obviously, as the first 2. So the Avs and Vegas take Game 5 into overtime. And it comes out swinging. Man, this was a wild overtime. Just 10 seconds in, JT Compher gets a massive opportunity on a rebound off of a shot from Gabe. Gabe's coming down right off the face-off win, comes into the zone, takes a pretty bad angle, but no shot's a bad shot, but takes an off-angle shot, bounces off of Fleury's pad straight up the slot, right onto JT Compher's stick, who rips it. Unfortunately, not able to get past Fleury, as once again, Marc-Andre Fleury played a phenomenal game. So, doing what he had to do to keep Vegas into this. Just going to check on this comment real quick. It's kind of a big one. Next name much. This is a really interesting point. We're going to see what this looks like when I pop it up. Cuts me off. That's fine. So Sydney brings up a really interesting point. He says, you notice Makar keeps going deep to the net and trying for that wraparound chance. I noticed he was coasting back at the end of regulation when Stone almost got the goal. Yeah, Mark Stone almost ended it in regulation. Stone almost got the goal. Are we using him too much for offense? Feel like I'm not hearing Mac's name much. Oh, don't don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. I just want to pop it up so people can also read it. That's very interesting, man. I have to say that is an interesting take. I don't know that we're using him too much. It kind of comes down to Cale doing what Cale wants to do out there, and he's a very offensive minded player. Even though he's a fenceman, his focus is on scoring opportunities and doing what he can to put us in the position to score goals. I don't think necessarily that it's the game plan for him to, take as many opportunities going deep into the zone as he does. I think that just comes down to his personality and his style of play. But I will 100% agree with you on that last part. I feel like I'm not hearing Nathan MacKinnon's name much either. And it's something that's honestly a little bit terrifying for this team. I mean, that's your star right there. The fact that he has been kind of non-existent for these last 3 games is pretty bad. It's pretty scary, considering the fact that he's our star. He's our number one. Thankfully we have the character, the cast that we do that involves Mikko Rantanen, Cale Makar, Gabe Landeskog, Brandon Saad. We have others for sure, but Nathan is our big gun. So it's very very spooky to have him kind of be shut down the way that he's been. And granted, Vegas has done a great job shutting him down, but it's like I said in the last show, the great ones adjust, and the great ones have to adjust. And so this comes down to Nathan having to change it up a little bit, having to find other ways to be productive and other ways to make an impact on the game that I feel like he's just not doing. And I'm not going to, kind of hop out there and say, oh, Nathan, Nathan's not good. Like, no, God, no. The dude's phenomenal. He's probably he's one of the best hockey players on the planet, obviously. But he has been very silent these last 3 games. And if we're going to win, that can't happen. The supporting cast can do a lot, but they can't, just pick up this team and put them on their shoulders like Nathan MacKinnon can, like Philip Grubauer can. It comes down to those two being on top of it every night in order for this team to get where they need to go. So yeah, I'll absolutely agree with you there. Like I say, Makar, yeah, I feel like he gets a little too antsy sometimes and just goes, okay, I have the puck, time to do everything. But it also does then take the attention from Vegas and draw it to himself. So, I'm not upset with it by any means, simply because he's doing everything in his power to open up opportunities for everybody else as well and to try and score goals. I'd obviously like to see him find a little better positioning to do stuff. It seems like he kind of puts himself in some kind of dangerous situations with, going down behind the net and, playing a lot against the boards. And as we've seen him do all season long, when he can break away from people and get to the middle of the ice, that's where he's the most dangerous. So that's what I'd like to see him try and do a little bit more. Obviously, you have to take what the other team's given you. So he's doing what he can, but yeah, I think it more comes down to him than like a coaching style or a game plan than anything else. So last thing, we have to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but we got to talk about it. At 50 seconds in, Mark Stone, because he didn't finish it in regulation as he could have, just had to finish it in overtime. Picks up his 5th goal of the postseason, ends a 6-game goal drought for him. Gets an assist from Max Pacioretty with his third assist of the postseason, and Alex Pietrangelo with his sixth assist of the season. Able to just spring him on a breakaway, and he buries it past Grubauer. And this is where I will definitely say, kind of something that trying to lay it. Yeah. No, I feel you, Sydney. This is something that, I definitely will say, as you'd kind of mentioned earlier, the issues with Nemeth, and then tonight it kind of seemed to be issues with Graves. This is something that definitely frustrated me for sure, and obviously frustrated you, I'm sure, frustrated many of the fans watching. Ryan Graves gets the puck at the point, takes a big slap shot. Mark Stone blocks it, comes right back to Graves. Now, after that block, Stone's now a little bit out of the way, but there's still so much traffic in front of Graves. And the thing is, when you're shooting through traffic, when your whole goal is try and find a shooting lane, it works so much better when the players are down closer towards the net. Because when a player is close to you, when they're further out, close to the blue line where you're taking the shot, you run into this exact issue that happens in this situation where Graves takes a shot, bounces off of Stone, gets the puck again, takes another shot, bounces off of Pietrangelo because he's now filled in and has come up close, knocks the puck to Pacioretty, who then takes it, passes it up to Mark Stone, who now has a breakaway because he's already going that way since he blocked that original shot from Graves. So just gives him an easy breakaway. He just happens to take a beautiful shot, gets it past Grubauer, bar and in. It's what you need to beat goaltenders like Grubauer. So, have to give Stone the credit here, but man, it sucks. It really, really sucks to see as an Avs fan, because they played so well for 40 minutes. They even played pretty darn well in the third, just not quite as well. And they obviously gave Vegas the opportunity by just letting them back in with two pretty quick goals. But this is something that, man, the Avs have got to figure out. All series long, aside from that first game, the shots from the point hasn't been working. The Golden Knights, man, and you've got let me pop it up right here. So we have the stats going across the bottom. Look at when it gets to Vegas's block shots, 26 compared to the Avs 11. Vegas will sacrifice the body. They will throw everything they can in front of the puck. When they're doing that, you have to use it against them. Fake a shot. Fake that shot from the point, get them to open up, find someone else to take the shot, get the puck deep. Even if it's just dumping it into the corner at that point, do something to change the angle. Because when this is what you're doing, and we've seen it time and time again in this series, where the shot will go from the point, get blocked, and lead to an opportunity for Vegas. You got to change it up. You have to change the game plan of taking those shots from the point. I know I said that I would love to see the defense get more involved with the offense. That's something that sets us apart from every team in the NHL. But that also requires them realizing that those shots aren't going through and them changing their angles, them bouncing the puck off the boards. So, a bank pass to someone, them dumping it a little more, or them just trying to pull defenders towards them as they kind of sink in and then find someone in the slot, find someone at a different angle. It takes those little changes in the game plan to open things up again, to get things back in the Avs' favor. So they have to do it. And right now, Vegas has a 3-2 series lead. We are on the brink of elimination. They have to do it in Game 6. If they don't change their approach in Game 6, if they keep trying to play the same game, they might have a little bit of success. Obviously, it's a good game plan. It's won us plenty of games. It got us to first place in the NHL through the regular season, but it's not working right now. And that's all that matters is right now. What worked in the regular season, that doesn't matter anymore. That is so far in the past and is so unimportant. It has to change right now. So we'll see what happens for Game 6. We will see if there's any lineup changes. Again, I I will be going to bed tonight holding the thought in my head, Bednar, get Nemeth out of the lineup. But we'll see if that happens. But the things have to change. Something has to be different, especially because we're going to Vegas. They've proven what it's like playing in their barn, and that is a dangerous, dangerous building to play in. Especially because it's actually packed. It is a full house. They sell out. I won't say anything negative about them, even though I hate Vegas. I absolutely hate the team. But I won't say anything negative about the fans. They come out, they show up, they make plenty of noise for their team. They do it right. Regardless of any actual knowledge of hockey, regardless of anything like that, they come up and they show out. So, we have to be ready for that. We have to go in there. We have to change up our style just a little bit. We have to do something that works. We cannot play the way that we've been playing for the last 3 games and expect to win game 6. That being said, we have to do whatever we can to win game 6 and bring it back to Ball Arena for game 7. Man, I've got my fingers crossed. I will say there's some worry. Anytime you face elimination, there's obviously worry, especially with it being the Avs and it being round 2. We've got some bad history with round 2 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So let's hope that changes. But before we head out, I do have to put up something we got to look at some positives, even though I did, kind of gush over how the Avs played the first 2 periods, kind of had to bring it back to reality of we still lost this game because of how they played in the 3rd period and how they played in overtime. But I got to finish it with some positives. So I'm going to throw this one up for you guys. The Avs prove they can play the physical game. They out-hit Vegas 41-31. That has been something that has been harped on for years about this team, is they're not physical enough. They're not physical enough. They proved tonight they are physical enough. And that was absolutely a side of the game that I noticed majorly in this one. They were not afraid to throw the body. Gabriel Landeskog was out there just throwing himself around left and right. Just made Pietrangelo and just punished him for ever coming near the puck, and it was beautiful. Something that the Avs absolutely need to keep up. That's one of those. That's a change that clearly made an impact. That's something that they have to keep going. They adjusted. They started playing a little bit more physically, and it made a difference. Keep that going. Once you adjust, you figure out what works, and you stick with it. So I hope to God they go into Vegas and just beat the crap out of them. That's what they have to do. If nothing else, make it more difficult for Montreal. If we can't pull off the win, which I don't even want to imagine, make it more difficult on them so that Montreal gets a little bit easier of a series or something. But like I say, I wanted to end on that positive. I think that is a huge, huge positive for this team, that for a team that has been absolutely dumped on for years about their inability to play the physical game. They're there. They're willing to do it. They're able to do it. And they proved it tonight that they will. So stick with that. You found something that works. Stick with it. Make the other adjustments you have to in order to win game 6. That being said, game 6 is June 10th. I'm so bad with days. Hold on. Got to click my calendar here. Thursday. I appreciate everybody that showed up tonight after my last one saying Wednesday. Games on Wednesday. I don't know what days are. Days are strange. Thursday, double checking. Thursday the 10th at 7 p.m. It's another 7 p.m. game. Sure, tune in for that. And definitely tune in after that. I will have the post game. Hopefully it's just a post game and not a postseason. That'll obviously be the hope. I will be doing everything in my power to send good energy the Avs way so that they can pull it off and they can bring it back for game 7. Oh yeah, I feel you there, Sydney. Pop this up just to finish everything off. Last thing, I just want to see us versus Canada to see the Nord sweater in the playoffs. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I would love to see the Avs be able to wear the Nordiques jersey in Canada for like an away game. I think that would be Absolutely beautiful. So we got to do whatever we can to send that energy, send those vibes, send that juju, whatever it is. Get this Avs team to feel it for Game 6, and then bring it back home so that we can make them feel it for Game 7. That being said, like I say, game is Wednesday. Regardless of the outcome, I will be having a post game show. Oh my God, Thursday. I hate days. I hate calendars. Oh man, it's a mess. Anyway, game is Thursday, 7 p.m. Be sure to join me after the game. Should be with Scott. He should be off work, so look for that. Very excited. Regardless, again, love doing these shows. So we'll have a good time regardless of the outcome. But we're obviously going to keep hopes that it will be a Game 6 win for the Avalanche, bringing it back home for Game 7. With all that being said, I am Gregory Doudna, a.k.a. The Blood Oath. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Sydney, thank you so much for the interactions, for the questions, for the comments. Always a blast getting to interact with anybody. You always make it fun, so thank you so much for that. I will see you all Thursday, as will King Cole, hopefully, unless something else comes up. But obviously stay posted, stay on the Rocky Mountain Sports Report Facebook page, as obviously any news will go there. With that, thank you so much. Be good, people. I will see you Thursday.